Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we are going to learn about modal verbs. We are first going to understand what they are, what are their functions, where they are used in the IELTS exam, and then we are going to look into the basic sentence framing of modal verbs. In today's video, we are going to cover them like an overview. We will give you an overview and a basic introduction to modal verbs, which is important for you to understand the modal verbs in detail later on. So after this video, we are going to release a few more videos where we go into specific modal verbs like can, could, will, would, and we learn their functions, their different sentence framing, and we will look at a lot of examples. So I hope that you learned something new today. Welcome to our channel. We are going to start by first telling you what are modal verbs. They are can, could, will, would, may, might, shall, should, and must. So these are the modal verbs that we are going to focus on. Now there are a few other words which are also known as semi-modal verbs, but we will look at them much later in a different video. Today we are going to try and understand the basics of these particular modal verbs. Examples in IELTS. So the first example is of writing task 2. Some people say that it would benefit the public health if the government spends more money on medical education. Do you agree or disagree? So here we have used the modal verb would, and you need to understand what would means in order to understand the question. Now, it might be in some cases that you will just assume that it means will, and in some cases that would work, but that would not work every time, as you would not know how to use the word would in your essay. The second example we have is describe a short-term job you would like to do in a foreign country. So this is again would. Now it's not just about writing and speaking, but even in reading and listening, you might read modal verbs or you might listen to modal verbs. We have seen that those students who don't really understand the meanings of modal verbs often tend to write the wrong answers whenever they come across a modal verb in those two modules. So we are trying to get rid of this confusion for you today. The role of modal verbs. They work as supportive or auxiliary verbs. They do not represent the main action of the sentence, but are used to improve its expression. They are used to improve the expression of the main action. So the modal verb does not actually act as the main action of the sentence, but it supports the main action of the sentence, and it works as an auxiliary or a supportive verb. We can see the examples here. I can make it better. So make is the main action here, and can is the modal verb that comes before it. It is not the main action of the sentence. I could go there tomorrow. Go is the main action, and could is the modal verb which is helping in its expression. Now, what is it helping in expression with? We will see in the next slide. I would tell you not to do it. So here tell is the main action, not would. I might visit her. So even in this case, we see that the main action is coming after the modal verb might. I should ask my parents first. So ask is the main action or the main verb, and should is the modal verb. Functions of modal verbs. They are used to show possibility or probability, certainty, ability. Obligation means something that you have to do even if you don't like to do it. That's an obligation. Necessity, something that is necessary, in other words. Predictions, to talk about the future or even to talk about the present, like if we are trying to predict what's going on right now. To make requests, to request for something. To make offers, to add politeness. Yes, so modal verbs are not only having this certain range of functions, but they can just be used to add some more manners and some more politeness to a sentence. Advise, suggest, or recommend something. So they can also be used in all these three cases. So unlike the normal verbs that you see, the verbs in our regular life like swimming, skating, running, acting, drinking, eating, they all just have one meaning, or in very rare cases, if you frame them in a different way, their meaning could change. But with modal verbs, they are so versatile that they keep changing their meaning with almost every sentence. So this list is the functions that they perform, but there is more than one modal verb performing each of these functions, and for each of these functions there is a group of modal verbs. So it's like vice versa. So that is why modal verbs are confusing, that they do not act as the main action of the sentence, but they have all of this big range of functions, and their meaning changes with the change in tense, or with the change in sentence framing, or with the change in the intention of the speaker. Let's look at a few examples. I can make it better, the example that we saw before. This is to show ability. The person who is speaking says, I am able, I have that capacity to make it better. I could go there tomorrow. Possibility. This is showing possibility, that yes, it's possible that I would or I could go there tomorrow. I would tell you not to do it. Advice. This is an advice. I would tell you not to do it. Instead of just saying don't do it, which is another grammatically correct way of just giving an advice, this is a more polite way. I must visit her. So this is a necessity. I must. Must is usually used for necessity. I should ask my parents first. So this is an obligation. This could also be called as a necessity. So I should ask my parents first. Can I have some water? So this is a request. Can is the modal verb. Would you like some tea? Offer. Yes, I would like some tea for sure. So even if I want to accept the offer, there could be a very polite way of accepting it by using a modal verb. It might rain later. So this is a prediction. Could I ask for a pen? So instead of just saying give me a pen, I can say could I ask for a pen? So modal verbs are something which are used by people who believe in a lot of mannerisms, good manners, good habits. So they actually beautify the language for you. Yes, in true modal verbs fashion, I would like to ask you, could you please subscribe? It would be really helpful for us. We are working hard, trying to release more videos for you more frequently, trying to create more quality content to help you prepare for your IELTS exam. So please could you subscribe to our channel and share it with your friends or anybody you know who is preparing for the IELTS exam, or even somebody who is just trying to learn the English language. We would be really grateful. So we are back to basic sentence framing. We are back to modal verbs. Now we are going to start learning basic sentence framing. A modal verb always has the same form and it never changes to S, ing or ed form. Now S form of the verb, we have like a whole R of content made for the S form of verb, subject verb agreement. We have made 2 videos on that. A normal verb or verbs that we generally see like eating, sleeping, excuse me, eating, sleeping, running, cycling. So they add S or ES, but modal verbs never add S or ES. They never add ing and they never add eg. They will never add ed. You will never see words like woods, wooding, or wounded. So if you do see words like this, somebody is making a mistake. When we add the main verb after the modal verb, we always use the bare infinitive form, which is to. A bare infinitive form is also known as the base form of the verb. An infinitive form is the one which comes with a to. So to plus the base form is the infinitive form of the verb. But in this case, using with a modal verb, we use the base form of the verb, also known as the bare infinitive, without to. I would study, but I'm tired. So I cannot say I would to study. I have to say I would study. I could make time and rest. So I could is the modal verb, and make is the main action, and I am not saying I could to make time. That would be wrong. To form a continuous sentence, we use continuous infinitive form of the main verb, which is be plus main verb plus ing. Now, I want to tell you about this particular word, continuous infinitive form. You are not supposed to remember the grammatically technical terms of the English language. What we need you to do is just remember the formula, the sentence framing. So if you don't remember this term, continuous infinitive form, it's fine. You just need to remember what's in the brackets. I should be studying now. So should is the modal verb, be, and then main verb study, and then ing. So in order to form a continuous sentence with a modal verb, this is the sentence framing that you will follow. Should, be, main verb plus ing. In the second sentence we have they might be reaching soon. So modal verb plus be plus main verb plus ing. So that is how you make continuous sentences when you use modal verbs. To express actions that are expected to be finished in the future. Actions that are expected to be finished in the future, we can use passive infinitive form of the main verb. So again, if you're a grammar enthusiast, you can try and remember passive infinitive, this particular word, but you don't need to be very bent on that. So you can just remember be plus the past participle form V3 of the main verb. Your work should be done by tomorrow. Sorry about the typo. Your work should be done by tomorrow. So it is should, the modal verb, be from the formula, and done, which is the V3 or the past participle form of do. Your work should be done by tomorrow. So that means we are trying to say that by tomorrow this action should be finished. I would be finished with the project next week. So would is the modal verb, be is the one we have taken from the formula, and finished is the past participle form or the V3 form of the verb finish. So I would be finished with the project next week. So we are predicting here again. We are trying to say that this particular action will be finished in the future by next week. Number 5. To form the past tense, we have now seen how modal verbs are used in general sentence framing, how they are not used in general sentence framing. We have seen the continuous tense, we've seen the future. Now we are looking at the past. We must use modal verb plus perfect infinitive of the main verb. What does a perfect infinitive means? Perfect infinitive means have plus V3. So they should have finished work by now. We can also add the over here, an article. They should have finished the work by now. So should is the modal verb, have from the formula, finished is the V3 form of finish. So by now, so this is more like a perfect tense. This is more like the present perfect tense where we talk about actions that are recently finished. So they should have finished work by now. He might have reached there. To form a negative sentence, we use modal verb plus not plus the main verb or different forms of the main verb. So negative sentence are sentences where you are talking about an action that did not happen or will not happen or is not happening right now. I would not come to the party. So modal verb plus not plus the main verb, I would not come. He could not shout at her, modal verb plus not plus main verb. She will not have finished her work tomorrow. So as we saw that we can also use some other form of the main verb, we in this case have used the form which we saw in number 5, have plus V3 form of the main verb. She will not have finished her work tomorrow. Will is the modal verb, not is for negative, have finished is from here, which is the perfect infinitive form of the main verb. She will not have finished her work tomorrow. It's complicated. What does that mean? It actually means that we are expecting that she will not be able to finish her work tomorrow. This is what we are trying to say. We are trying to predict the future, some negative action about the future. That is what we are trying to say here. she will not have finished her work tomorrow. They cannot be wasting time. So this is about the present, but we are trying to say something continuous in the present but in the negative form. So they cannot be wasting time. Can is the modal verb. Not, when can and not they come together, we make them into a compound word. Cannot be wasting. So be plus main verb plus ing in our previous slide we saw is for using modal verbs in continuous sentences. So all of the sentence framings that we saw, all of them can be used in the negative frame using this particular formula. To form an interrogative sentence means to ask a question. We put the modal verb before the subject. Now, what is a subject? A subject is a person or a non-living thing or an animal that does some action. So, in order to form an interrogative sentence using a modal verb, we first need to put the modal verb and then we need to use the subject. Could you wait for me? This is like a very humble request, a very polite request. Could you wait for me? Now I can say the same thing using can, like can you wait for me, like we have done in the second example. Can you help me? So both of them are ways to make requests, but could is more polite than can. Will you be late? So this is just like asking a question about the future. Will you be late? So in all of these cases we have used modal verbs before the subject. That is what you need to do if you want to form a question using a modal verb. So that was it for today. I hope that you understood everything that we saw today, and if you didn't, you can let us know in the comments below. We will be more than happy to help you. At the end of the video, I just want to remind you that we will be having more videos coming out after this one, where we will look into individual modal verbs like can, could, will, would, may, might, and we will understand how their meaning changes with different sentences, different tenses, and how their sentence framing changes. So at the end of the series, you will be able to have a very nice understanding of the modal verbs, and you will be able to apply it if you actually keep on revising it. If there is anything in particular that you want us to make a video on, please let us know. Subscribe to our channel, and thank you for watching. Have a nice day.